Okay, for lesson 3, we're going to review the coordinate grid. So to first just start out with remembering, so we've got two intersecting lines. So X is our horizontal line. Notice 0 would be in the center, and negatives moving left, positives moving right. And then the vertical line is Y. Again, 0 in the middle, positives moving up, negatives moving down. Our four quadrants, quadrant 1 is over here in the top right. The reason it starting over here is because that is where both X and Y are positive. Then quadrant 2, and we put these in Roman numerals, are over here. Quadrant 3 is in this section, and that's where both X and Y are negative. And then quadrant 4 down here in the bottom right. So I have listed points A through F and some ordered pairs. Remember, we always list X first and then Y, just like in the alphabet. X comes before Y. And in this third column, we're going to list which quadrant it is, or if it's on an axis, we'll list which axis. So for point A, 1, 4, think about where I'm going to put that. So X is 1, so I'm going to move 1 right, and then 4 up. And label it A. Point B is at -3, 1. So from the origin, I'm going to move 3 left and then up 1 and label that point B. C is at 2, -2. So 2 to the right and then down 2, labeling it point C. D is at -5, -1. So 5 left, down 1. E is at 4, 0. So X is 4. X is the first number, so I'll move 4 to the right. Since Y is 0, I will not move up or down. And then point F is at 0, -1. So X is 0, so it stays. It will not move left or right, and then it will go down 1. Okay, let's list which quadrant each one is. So locate point A, and that would be in quadrant 1. Point B, quadrant 2. Point C would be quadrant 4. Point D in quadrant 3. And then point E, notice it's over here, so it's on the x-axis. And then point F is on the y-axis. Okay, I have another coordinate grid set up. Again, remember, X is our horizontal line and Y is our vertical number line. This time I already have points plotted on the coordinate grid, and we're going to write the ordered pair for that. So the first one's G, so we're looking here. So we always list the X first, so that's 5, and then the Y would be 2. So 5, 2, and if we want to go ahead and label the quadrant or axis, I'm going to go ahead and write those in for us. 1, 2, 3, 4. So point G would be in quadrant 1. Point H, so we're looking here. We give the X first, so that's 3, and then the Y, -2. And that would be in quadrant 4. Point I, so is in this area. So the X first, which is at -4, and then the Y is at -2. So -4, -2, and that's in quadrant 3. Point J, moved 3 left, so the X is -3. It did not move up or down, so the Y is 0. And that would not be just in a quadrant, but it would be on the x-axis. Point K, located here, so it went 2 left and up 3, so -2, 3, and that would be in quadrant 2. Okay, on the last page of our lesson here, notice that your ordered pairs are not just whole numbers or not just integers. So we've got some fractions involved, some mixed numbers. This is only showing quadrant 1. Notice the reason I know that is because this line here is positives and the y is also positive numbers. So that would be quadrant 1. Since we're going to be looking at fractions, you can kind of picture how halfway would be in between each one. And then since some fourths are involved, I can even do some smaller lines to divide those into fourths. On your problems today that you will work on your own, the grids are split where it's a little bit easier to tell where the halves and the fourths are. Okay, so let's put where point L would be. So remember, it still goes x first and then y. So x is at 1.5. So here's the 1, and then here would be halfway, and then I'll be going up 3.5. So up to 3 and then half more would be here. So that would be point L. Then M is at 2 1/4. So here's the 2, 1/4 would be here. Then that's going to go up to 1 1/4. So 1 is here, 1/4 here. And that's point M. Kind of dot that over so you can kind of see where I'm at. Okay, N is at 4 3/4. So here's the 4. This would be a half. This would be the 1/4. This would be the 3/4. So we'll be going up from that 4 3/4 all the way up to where y is 4. So we can kind of picture that here on that line and moving up here and labeling that in. Okay, so you're ready for practice problems, and you'll find the lesson that says Lesson 3, Coordinate Grid.